Sometimes I still wake up in a cold sweat thinking about that day, the sheer audacity of it all. I'm talking about the day the new CTO, a guy named Marcus who clearly thought his MBA made him a genius, fired me with a smirk that still makes my blood boil. He actually leaned back in my own office chair, steepled his fingers, and said with that condescending smooth voice, "We own your code, sweetheart. It's company property. You're done." Now, here's the thing, and I want you to tell me honestly, was I wrong for the nuclear option I chose next? Because in that moment, when he threw my life's work back in my face like cheap trash, I just reached into my bag, pulled out a simple manila folder, and slid it across the desk toward him. My voice was calm, almost unnervingly so, when I replied, "Actually, Marcus, before you have the security detail escort me out, you should probably read paragraph 4. Tell me, would you have waited for his reaction, or would you have walked right then?" I stayed, and I watched the color drain from his face, and I'm still not sure if I regret a single second of the beautiful chaos that followed. To really understand what happened, you need to know the origin story of EthaOS. That was the name of the software platform, a revolutionary, self-optimizing system that streamlined logistics for mid to large-scale manufacturers. It was my baby, born out of 3 grueling years of PhD research and countless all-nighters fueled by cheap coffee and pure spite for the existing clunky enterprise solutions. I didn't just write the code. I conceived the architecture, the algorithms, and the whole darn philosophy behind it. When I was fresh out of school, drowning in student loans and needing to bring my vision to life, I pitched EthaOS to a relatively small but ambitious tech firm. Let's call them Nexus Innovations. The CEO, Mr. Henderson, was an old-school businessman, pragmatic but fair. He didn't understand the intricacies of my code, but he understood the potential for $1 billion valuation. The problem was, Nexus couldn't afford to pay me a rate salary pay me outright for the intellectual property, IP. They offered a standard employee contract with a generous salary, sure, but I was wise to the usual corporate IP grab where they just stamp work for hire on everything and call it a day. I negotiated hard. I told Mr. Henderson straight up, my code is not a service, it is a product. I will work for you to develop and implement it, but the core IP remains mine. It took 2 months of backhand, forth with their legal team, but eventually we settled on a hybrid agreement, a document so thick and full of nested clauses it could rival a short novel. I was hired as a principal developer, later promoted to head of platform development, but the critical part, the foundation of EthaOS, the actual kernel of the proprietary algorithms, was not a work-for-hire product. Instead, the agreement stipulated that I, the inventor, was granting Nexus Innovations an exclusive, perpetual, non-transferable license to use, modify, and market EthaOS only for duration of my employment. The kicker was in paragraph 4. If my employment was terminated without cause which was narrowly defined as gross misconduct, criminal activity, or a material breach of the original IP agreement, the license would automatically and immediately convert into a non-exclusive month license with a licensing fee set at 50% of the platform's quarterly revenue, payable directly to me, the sole IP owner, with a 30-day cancellation clause for the licensee Nexus and a 60-day cancellation clause for the licensor me. I had insisted on the 50% because the platform was the company. Without EthaOS, Nexus was just a fancy office building full of unemployed sales reps. The whole structure was designed to protect my life's work from a corporate takeover, a safety net in case they ever tried to screw me over, and for years it worked. My salary was excellent, my stock options were vesting nicely, and EthaOS was flying. generating nearly $50 million in annual recurring revenue for Nexus. I was a fixture, the quiet genius in the back, indispensable and untouchable. Then Mr. Henderson retired, and in walked the venture capitalists. They brought in a new CEO, a slick, aggressive guy named Richard, and within a month, they'd hired Marcus, the new CTO, an outside hire who had zero technical experience with Etha OS, but talked a good game about monetizing synergies and operationalizing disruption. I saw the writing on the wall the moment Marcus started asking condescending questions about my code structure and suggesting we could just outsource the whole darn thing to a cheaper third party. He clearly viewed me, the woman who built the billion-dollar potential engine of the company, as an overpaid legacy employee who needed to be managed, minimized, and eventually replaced. The tension escalated quickly. He started making ridiculous demands, forcing me to rewrite stable parts of the core code just because he didn't like the variable names, or demanding features that would break the entire underlying architecture. I pushed back professionally, documenting every technical reason why his demands were short-sighted and detrimental to the platform. My resistance was seen as insubordination, and one Tuesday morning, Marcus walked into my office, the office I had earned through years of sleepless nights with Richard, the new CEO, right behind him. Richard looked uncomfortable, but Marcus, he was radiating smug victory. He didn't even offer me a chair. He just stood there, delivered his little corporate monologue about restructuring the technology department for improved agility, and then finished with the line that started it all: "We're letting you go, effective immediately. And don't worry about the code, we own your code, sweetheart. It's company property, you're done." It was the ultimate disrespect, the total, callous dismissal of my contribution, my foresight, and my intelligence. That's when I handed him the folder, so that was the situation I was in. They thought they owned everything, that they could just discard the inventor and keep the invention, the golden goose that was paying all their salaries. They had just told me I was out, and they had specifically and definitively terminated my employment without cause because they couldn't possibly claim gross misconduct when my performance reviews were stellar and the product was flawless. Before I tell you what happened next, what Marcus saw when he actually opened that folder and read the contract I'd made sure was notarized and legally ironclad, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have just walked out and hired a lawyer, starting a long, drawn-out battle? Or would you have gone for the immediate, devastating, company-crushing countermove because I chose option B and I had been preparing for it for years? Seriously, comment now. I'm curious to know your instant reaction before you hear the rest of the story, before you hear the glorious sound of corporate panic. Marcus, seeing my composure, chuckled condescendingly. "Is this a resignation letter? Save it. Your effective date is today." I just waited. Richard, the CEO, who looked more and more like a nervous passenger in a crashing plane, finally urged, "Marcus, just read the document. It can't hurt." Marcus scoffed, but he opened the folder. It contained only two things: a fresh copy of the original IP/employment agreement with my signature and Mr. Henderson's signature circled in red, and a single page detailing the current financial projections of Etha OS. He started skimming, his eyes flicking over the dense legal text until he hit the section I had highlighted with a yellow marker, paragraph 4. His reading went from dismissive to curious to utterly frozen. His face went completely slack. The smirk vanished, replaced by an expression of dawning, gut-wrenching realization. He read the sentence twice, maybe 3 times, tracing the words with his finger. The license would automatically and immediately convert into a non-exclusive month license with a Licensing fee set at 50%, 50% of the platform's quarterly gross revenue. He slowly lifted his head, not looking at me, but at Richard, the CEO, with the wide, terrified eyes of a man who just realized he'd driven the company car off a cliff. He didn't speak. He just pointed a trembling finger at the document. Richard, clearly mystified, leaned over to read it, his face following the same trajectory of disbelief and horror. Then Marcus found his voice, a high-pitched, strangled sound that was a complete contrast to his earlier smooth confidence. He looked at Richard and stammered out the words that I will cherish forever. "Sir Richard, she doesn't work for us. She *** licenses *** the tech to us. We just evicted our primary *** vendor ***. The CEO jaw actually dropped. The truth of the situation hit them like a freight train. By firing me without cause, to save on my generous principal developer salary and stock options, they hadn't just terminated an employee. They had triggered a clause that instantaneously removed the exclusive, perpetual license. That was the literal foundation of their entire product line. They didn't ** own ** the code. They had been * renting ** it from me, the sole IP owner. And now the rent had just skyrocketed, demanding 50% of the revenue. ** they had lost exclusivity, meaning I was now free to license Etha OS to * any * of their direct competitors. The silence in the room was deafening, thick with the smell of ambition gone terribly, terribly wrong. The realization that they had just fired the person they now owed millions to, who also had the power to instantly create their direct competition, was a sight I will never forget. Richard started frantically flipping through the folder, finding the financial sheet I had conveniently included. It projected $12, $5 million licensing fee * per quarter * payable to me, starting immediately. Marcus, the genius CTO, tried to backtrack, weakly muttering, we can just fire her, we'll say it was a misunderstanding. I shook my head, my smile genuine now. The clause is * automatic * and * immediate * upon termination of employment. Marcus, you said you're done. The contract says you're done. The license has already converted. I stood up, taking back my chair. My new legal counsel will be in touch with your legal counsel by the end of the day to discuss the first royalty payment. And please note, I have a 60-day cancellation clause. You have a 30. Cancellation clause. Tick-tock. I walked out, past the security guard who wasn't sure what was happening, and left the two of them paralyzed in the wreckage of their own hubris. The aftermath was swift and total. Nexus Innovations went into a complete tailspin. They couldn't afford the 50% licensing fee, and they couldn't risk me immediately licensing the * non-exclusive * tech to their biggest rival. They tried to sue, claiming the original agreement was signed under duress, but the documents were too solid, too well vetted by their * own * former legal team. 3 months later, facing insolvency and a mass exodus of clients who heard the rumor that the core tech had been destabilized, they were forced to offer me a settlement I couldn't refuse. I didn't return to work. Instead, I sold them a *new *, much more expensive, non-transferable, non-exclusive license for a huge one-time cash payment, enough money to start my own competitor firm from scratch, which I immediately did. Marcus and Richard, they were both gone within 6 weeks, scapegoats for $1 billion mistake. My new company is doing exceptionally well, built entirely on the improved version of the code that they so casually dismissed as company property. The moral of the story, if there is one, is that the silent person in the room is often the most dangerous. Always read the fine print and never, ever underestimate the person who actually built the engine you're trying to drive. They thought I was an asset they could liquidate. I turned out to be the ground beneath their feet that I could instantly pull away. I'm still enjoying the quiet satisfaction of watching my former company struggle from my new, much larger corner office. Like this video if you were on my side and think Marcus got exactly what he deserved. Subscribe for more stories of corporate comeuppance and legal loophole revenge, because I've got a whole backlog of satisfying tales just like this one. Share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. Was the 50% royalty too much? Or was it the perfect price of arrogance? I'll see you all in the next story.